Hello YouTube, Lester Corona Strolling Bones here. This is a video response to Meta Rockwell and a video he made regarding, I think it was directly geared to talk about or to address the idea of remote gaming. I think he was concerned with a previous video he had made where he may have kind of knocked it, or if not knocked it, at least didn't give it any sort of plug. It's the end of the NHL season. The last few games are being played, and my two favorite teams are playing against each other tonight. So I'm in full regalia here. Go Habs, go! Most of you probably aren't into sport, especially hockey, knowing most of you to be Americans. Anyway, that's besides the point. My initial experience or thoughts on remote gaming were very negative. I'm a real pen and paper, sit down at the table. I mean, I'll use computers to display pictures, play sounds and things like that, but I like that visceral feeling. It's like playing poker online. I hate the idea of playing poker online until I understood the utility behind it. I hated the idea because it's so much better. You can utilize all of the skills involved in playing poker if you play at the table, whereas you can only utilize some of them while playing online because you don't have that immediate personal interaction. So I was skeptical, highly skeptical about the idea of remote gaming. However, I've been researching it over the last, I'd say about 6 months. I mean, I've been a role player for a long time, and remote gaming has been a possibility for a long time, but that just goes to show how against it I was or I have been in the past. So basically, I was looking for options and opportunities to play because my gaming groups were falling apart, and I recorded that video about the bad game that I had, and I've since then remedied that situation to a degree. Not fully, but to a degree I've remedied that, and I have a different group. A group that had the fat trimmed, we'll say, that I play with every once in a while. We've only had 2 sessions now, and we'll be playing hopefully another one this week. But anyway, so I was searching for people to play. I didn't invest all this time and money and effort into fantasy roleplay, which is my way of calling, that's what I call Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, the 3rd edition, because it is my current favorite system. Not just is the setting amazing, but the actual mechanical system of the game is I just love it. I mean, as a GM, it eases your workload a ton. There's very little rules lookup because everything is on cards. You don't have to play on cards, but I don't know, or you don't have to play with cards, but I don't know why anybody would play the version without the cards. To get into the game, it's actually more economically smart to buy the core set and get the cards. But I'm getting off topic. So through that community, through the fantasy roleplay community at Fantasy Flight Games website and their forums there, I met some fellows. I met this one fellow named Gitzman. He calls himself Gitzman Go Fasta, or Jesse Gitzman Burke. And we started kind of chatting just loosely over Skype. And he kind of let me know that they were doing games online, and it was through him that I discovered the Reckless Dice podcast, and it's been my very fortunate luck to have been invited along to be a regular and to get to discuss my favorite setting and my favorite system on a bi-weekly podcast, and plus we're doing live sessions as well. But one of the big things behind these live sessions is the remote gameplay. We have players playing from all over the world. Right now, most of the people are in the United States, and I'm the only one who's a foreigner, being a Canadian, but we are encouraging, we're trying to build a stable of players and GMs who want to get together and experience that game. Now, the main thing to note here is that, like Meta Rockwell said, there are 2 ways you can go about using MapTool, which is the medium with which we play the Reckless Dice podcast live sessions. One of them is, like he was saying, it's more like a video game. Jesse Burke has gone to great lengths to produce beautiful maps, incredibly detailed, beautiful maps based on pre-made adventures within the Warhammer world. And we have played using 2 of those maps. I've only been present for the use of one of them, but I've seen all the maps he's made, and they are unbelievable. And I've been helping him make the other pre-made adventures into MapTool's games. However, we swapped GMs so that everybody gets a chance to play. Jesse likes to play. He feels that he knows how to be a game master better than he can actually implement that knowledge. So that being said, he is a better theoretical GM than he is a GM in practice. And so he wants to play. So we swapped it out for Paul, who is the other co-founder, Paul Tobia, the other co-founder of Reckless Ice Podcast, which is one of the best role-playing game podcasts out there. Although it is specialized, it is only about Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, and the third edition in particular. But it is about role-playing and has fantastic information on it. Anyway, Paul took over, and Paul went about. Paul said we were going to play this one adventure. It's a mini campaign called The Gathering Storm. And so I went out and I recruited a couple people to come play. So there's 4 of us playing the game right as of right now. There's Cherry Danger Bunny, my girlfriend. There is Meta Rockwell. There is Jesse Gitzman Burke, myself, and then Paul Tobia playing. Now, the way Paul went about doing it differently was to have a blank background on MapTool. I don't know how much knowledge all of you guys have about MapTool or if you have any working experience with it, but it's a fucking amazing tool. But there are, like Jeremiah said, like Meta Rockwell said, there are 2 main ways that you can go about using it. And I happen to prefer the way Paul did it and the way that Jeremiah was talking about it. So Jeremiah had this experience with me as well. And the only thing we used were tokens to represent our characters so we could calculate and keep track of stress and fatigue and wounds and things along those lines, conditions, things like that. And then location cards. So if we were in the tavern, he'd have the tavern location card, which is something mechanical about Warhammer that we'll get into in further videos. And that's all we got. And then that encouraged us as players to engage the GM more, request information about the surroundings, and it also encouraged him as the game master to be more creative and more imaginative and to tell us what the situation was, tell us what our surroundings were more so. So it led to a more traditional pen and paper style RPG. And I personally absolutely love that. I do also like, and I'm not going to slight Jesse, I think Jesse's amazing. I can't stress enough how amazing the adventures that Jesse have made are. Just incredible. Some of them are so powerful they cause computers to crash. There's so much information put into them. So you need a high-end computer. It is essentially a video game to run some of these maps and some of these adventures that Jesse has ported over into the MapTool domain. But that being said, it needs to be realized that MapTool can be used in a traditional pen and paper sense. You use Skype to have voice chat, and like Jeremiah said, you can instantly transfer images, sound, audio bytes, all sorts of stuff so that everybody can have a display. You know, you could run a slideshow, or you could do all sorts of things to give that visual element to the players and then describe everything on top of that. So I say yay to remote gaming. It's an amazing opportunity for anybody who's in the same boat as me, where you do not have an effective gaming group that is consistent, and you want to play more. I mean, I want to play all the time. I love to play guitar. Right now I'm between jobs. I'm probably going to be getting a job here tomorrow, working night crew, so I'm still available all day long to write and to play. And I want to play because through playing, it helps me with my developing and my writing as I play. I utilize elements of my role playing in my writing and vice versa. But I say yay, and I say us as a community have a great opportunity here to get into better contact with each other via Skype and via these awesome remote play tools. We all seem to be so not necessarily similar, but so bloody interested in role playing that it's just a great medium with which we could play together. Don't shortchange remote gaming, guys. Remember, that's another medium with which we can introduce new people to the game and also play with one another, even though we live in vastly separated areas. Anyway, guys, keep gaming, keep remote gaming, keep tabletop gaming. Tabletop RPGs are not the wave of the future, but they are essentially the greatest form of entertainment and social interaction that I can think of. So, yeah, guys, keep it up. Thanks a lot. Lester Crow's out.